Hello. I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
Hello, and welcome to another episode here at Nerdherder, where we today are talking about our first love of nerdiness, the Star Wars.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Rockadoodle.
No, if you were here when we weren't live, you
Whoops.
wouldn't have an idea of what we were
I'm still
talking
not
about.
necessarily sure.
We are talking about Star Wars, specifically our favorite Jedi. We love a lot of things, and if you've been on a journey with us and Nerdherder and tuning in and listening and all of that good stuff, you'll know we've been doing a lot of love-centric, positive-centric episodes. That's very much in our Nerdherder fiber for sure. It is a part of the quilt, but more than ever, we wanted to put a highlight on it. And so we've been doing, and we have one more to it, episodes where we just gab with friends on the show about the what we love about each of the films. And so we've done the Skywalker saga. We did Solo back in March, I think, and Rogue One is coming next season. And so
Yes.
we've been doing that. We've done a couple of rankings or just chats about things we like. And mostly because and it's sad that it's topical, but because of the kinds of things that have been in the Twitterverse and the discourse after the most recent episodes of Kenobi and whatnot, the news that Moses Ingram has been getting harassed.
Yes.
I would
Leave
love
her
it.
alone.
I'd love a day where we can go to the news after a new Star Wars and not find out that someone's being harassed by people.
Damn.
And so that's why positivity, fun, all of that is so much of a Nerdherder thing, whether we're talking about Star Wars or not, but especially Star Wars. Just because people are butts, and
People are butts.
try as we might, they continue to be butts. And that's going to happen. I'm just to tell you, if you're frustrated with Twitter, if you're frustrated with the negativity, it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to continue to exist, but you don't have to exist with it. You can listen to our silly little podcast, maybe, or
Maybe use the block button.
well, definitely that. Listen
Yes.
to other amazing, positive people and voices. Immerse yourself in the things you love, without having to lower yourself and engage with the things you don't. I mean, protect your peace and all of that good stuff. And so we are protecting our peace. We are sharing what we love, and we are sharing it with people we love,
Yes.
to talk about some of our favorite Jedi. We figured we have to start with the light side because, that's you think of Star Wars, you think of the good guys.
You don't always
Sometimes
want cookies, you know?
you don't always want cookies.
Yeah. That's the t-shirt. Come to the dark side, we have cookies.
Oh, come to the dark side. We have coffee is what I'm more
it's
familiar with.
true.
But whatever. It's to you
I
say
mean,
cookie, I say coffee.
If we're being honest with ourselves, the Jedi have cookies too. They're just oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yes, we do have some oatmeal raisin macadamia nut loving Jedi on the list, I am sure.
Vanilla.
But you know what? To each their own. I really, really hope, and I'm pretty positive we'll have a varied list of Jedi by the time we are
Yes.
done. 4 people uniquely making a list of all of the Jedi. There's a lot of Jedi.
There's a lot of Jedi.
And
I'm sure, almost positive that no one can guess ahead of time what my favorite Jedi.
Hey, challenge accepted. Go into the comments, see if you can guess ours. But and this was no parameters.
None.
It's not just the movies. It's the shows, it's the comics, it's whatever you want. They just have to be a Jedi.
Your dad?
At one point or another. That's all I'm saying.
My dad's a Jedi.
Your dad is also Batman, and I love that man.
It's true.
I also love the man that is slightly like him, a little bit taller and a lot less funny. I'm talking, of course, of Justin.
Wow, I don't know how to take that intro.
I don't know.
Also, we need to talk because there's like a lot of hate going on right now, and we don't need to diss oatmeal cookies. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You know what? You caught us. We're talking about positivity.
If that's dark side, I'm dark side.
Made by the right
trashing
person.
a
Oatmeal
perfectly not good cookie. You know what? You're right. We shouldn't point out how not good it is.
Justin, what's your favorite kind of cookie?
Oatmeal raisin.
What am I not am I not allowed to offer valid criticisms?
What's your criticism?
You're cookie racist.
I've been a cookie fan
You
since
are cookie
1977, sir. I'll have you know.
Oh, he's an expert. You ought to make a podcast about cookies.
You know what? We might just, buddy. Yes, the lovely
Anyway,
Justin.
hello, happy Pride, everybody.
Yes,
Happy
he never
Pride.
left.
Love y'all. I'm still here.
Joining us last week to talk about Aliens, switching gears a little bit here, but I don't remember, was this first or was Alien first with you on the calendar?
This one was first, and in fact, I went back and saw my notes, because I have to make notes for my favorite Jedi. April 15th is when I started writing stuff down. So
Jeez.
Look at you taking notes, preparing like
Concise.
a good guest.
I got 17 pages in Word. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Jeez Louise.
Well, I hope you included a musical dance number somewhere in there, because I do tend to fade out about page 7 of PowerPoint.
You need to get the soul ballet out. You know?
Oh my goodness. So, well, you might as well be a veteran. One show under the belt, back again. I mean,
Woo,
you are
suck it, Josh.
regular.
Specifically, my brother Josh, because
Yes.
maybe
Not just
You or
somebody
Josh?
named Josh.
Right. I used to get in trouble with
Your
it all the
twin.
time because my primary insult name is Jim, and we also had a patron named Jim, and so it was
Yep.
very awkward the first couple of times.
It's true.
So, but
Mine's
nonetheless,
Debbie.
but now we have yet again, just as Justin was a newbie last week to joining the herd, at least for an episode, we also have another newbie. We're growing the herd.
Not new to us.
Not new to
well
no.
beloved by us.
Friend of the show, and now on the show, the lovely Miss Lauren.
Beautiful
Woo.
Lauren.
Yes. With the
Hello, friends.
epic lighting and
You like
everything.
that? I
Yes.
got the the bisexual energy going.
feel
on here
extra
with the
beige.
colors, and yeah, I'm ready, man.
Well, if we're basing our background colors on sexuality, yours is very on point, Justin.
That is the straight
I
pride.
identify as beige.
Well, I hate to tell you, but you're sour cream, buddy. It's okay.
That's true.
I am with the light I've got on.
You kind of get a little bit of a keen hummus when you go out into the sun, though. It's
It's
cool.
true. When
Nice.
you get to the
Chipotle.
point where all of your freckles
Chipotle.
connect.
These
Yeah.
are ginger jokes for our auditory listeners.
Oh, good point.
Tune in live, would you dinguses? Like
It's yeah.
we're live every Friday at 9, having a hoot and a half,
Mhm.
and you should be here. And if you're not,
hmm
well, we still love you because you're still
Aw.
listening, and we are desperate for validation.
I was reminded
Aren't
that
we all?
it's been a long time since I've had my natural hair color, and I was just
Yeah.
like, what is? I'm still ginger under here somewhere.
Right.
I still like the blue phase.
Thank you.
Blue was
Blue-
great. I love
blue boop
blue
was
on
my
you,
favorite
Boop.
boop, for sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
Stan.
all boops, all variety of boops, but
Even Nicolas Cage boop.
well, okay, I take that back. Lauren, as the
Can I
newbie
come stay
here,
with you?
as the newbie here,
Mhm.
why don't you tell our listeners, our lovely little peoples, a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I am part of a couple podcasts, a Star Wars podcast that I run with my cousin Andrea. It's called the GALactic Podcast. So we do that once a week. A lot of fun. We talk about obviously a variety of stuff, just like you guys. So we do that, and then I have Geek Broadcast, which is a kind of more geek-based podcast. We're talking a lot of Marvel, just because it's kind of a lot going on in Marvel right now. So we talk about Marvel, Stranger Things, I mean, kind of any other fandom. And that's a bi-weekly podcast. So those are the two spots you can follow me. And we are on Twitch too, on Geek Broadcast. So yes. We're
Very
trying to
nice.
dip our toes into that water,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Hey, better than us. I love gaming, but I don't like gaming with an audience, mostly because I say too many 4-letter words, and so it's just
It's true.
not
It's really
fun.
funny.
That's part of the
um,
charm, I think. If you
Right.
don't do that, what's the point? I mean, come
It's a-
on. Let's just be honest with it, you know?
Also, token joke. I too am bi-weekly.
exactly.
Ayo.
Daily, even.
Oh
Ayo.
my gosh. You mentioned, getting into the Geek Broadcast cast
Mhm.
because there's just so much Marvel to deal with. Which also I love your purple Marvel-esque Marvel Studios logo for that.
Yes,
But
it is fun. I love it
it,
too.
when we started Nerdherder, we started with a lot of content, mostly because of how much more Boop was getting exposed to Star Wars. You know, we
Mm.
had the Clone Wars
I was exposed.
rewatch, we had Rebels, we had a lot of new things. But eventually we started, and where Nerdyverse came from, in case anybody's wondering, was because we were like, well, there's starting to get less and less. Like there's a couple of new movies left, but after that, there's no more Star Wars. So
True.
we have to start
Right.
talking about other things. And now, I mean, golly, if you were paying attention at Celebration, so much Star Wars over the next couple of years already getting
Yes.
promised to us. I mean, when I found out that Andor is going to be 12 episodes, I
Oh.
like
Oh,
lost my mind.
screamed.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm so ready. And then Bad Batch coming at the end of the year. Like little did we know, Star Wars Renaissance was coming. It is
Right.
here,
Mhm.
and I'm so happy for it. And you know what? Talking about favorite Jedi, I was very tempted after these last couple of weeks to change my list. I
Oh,
will say.
yeah, that's right. We've had many a conversation about that.
So
None on cam or none on
no,
microphone.
no, I did tease it
Tease
on
it.
Twitter. But
Shut up, Eli.
Eli.
Oh,
uh,
Frona.
the lovely Eli finally graduated from Hogwarts.
It's true.
You know,
Happy birthday,
he got his
buddy.
ticket to Jedi Academy coming up, but
Happy
you
birthday,
know,
Eli.
Now he's a big kid.
he's a big kid now. Um, he's the baby of the group. But no,
It's true. He's a child.
True.
I've talked about it here and there, but like I've never been a like Kenobi fan, and we're not gonna spoil anything for anybody listening, but because of when this comes out, we're not talking about Kenobi. But uh
Absolutely not.
yes,
No,
no, but there is a little Easter egg for anyone who wants to tune in live.
it's true.
um
Also, before she goes to bed, hi, Ellie.
Oh,
Good
hi,
night, sweetheart.
Ellie.
oh yes, we have the lovely Jer Bear
Cheer
here
bear.
with us.
Jerry.
Oh,
Who I got to meet in person for the first time at Celebration. That was
you
The
amazing.
lucky
jealousy.
woman.
I was.
I just want to hug that man so much.
He looks like he
Um,
gives nice hugs.
He does. Can
so
confirm. Can
so
confirm.
does Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Thank you for getting
who
us back
I
on track. This is
who
not Jerry cast.
who I have largely pushed to the side. You know, I was always that guy of like, well, you know, Obi-Wan was wrong, and you know, really Obi-Wan was partially responsible for Anakin. Like I was
Mhm.
that guy all the time
Yes, you were.
because I never had an affection for the character. I love Ewan. I love James Arnold Taylor. I love Alec Guinness. Don't get me wrong. And Stephen Stanton, who is often forgot about as the Rebels Kenobi.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
Great character, just not interesting. But he is going through the Last Jedi phase, and I am absolutely loving it.
Mhm.
And I don't know that he'd ever make it to top 3 or favorite, but I definitely think I need to rearrange my top 10 maybe.
Mm.
I don't know if you
Ooh,
guys
interesting.
if you've been enjoying Kenobi, how you feel about it.
I I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I mean, it's that deep, just like you said. It's the deep character like arc of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's very Last Jedi Luke, and it's just amazing. Like it's mind blowing right now for me. It's great. This is what I think we all kind of hoped for it would be, and I think they're nailing it. Like just
For
especially this last
sure.
episode. Oh my god, yeah, just insane, insane.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Give
I
me
don't know
all
that
the
I can
drama.
answer that question without spoiling anything. So
Right, it's
I'm
very
just gonna sit
hard.
here and be like,
Agree, Justin.
very good.
Very
Yes.
good.
Two
Very
thumbs
good.
up.
Thumbs up of approval.
2 thumbs up from the Justin. Um, yeah, the strangest thing to me was actually seeing someone compare Kenobi here to Luke from The Last Jedi as if it was like a negative, like, you
Mm.
know, look, like this is how it's done, like, you know, and it's just like no, it's the same exact journey, and
Yes.
that's what I'm in love with is like I love, and I've talked about this with Luke Skywalker, but I love traumatic character because it makes me feel valid for being traumatized. Like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want someone to be like, yeah, I'm messed up too. Like
Mhm.
you're not alone. And I mean that's why we watch the stories we watch, right? Like, isn't it C.S. Lewis who was like, let them read books about knights so they know how to face many a danger and whatnot. Like,
Quoting C.S. Lewis, right as I'm about
well,
to quote
badly.
Oscar Wilde.
Oh, hit me.
Oh, it's an Oscar Wilde quote that came to mind in that last episode, which is "Good night, sweet pea."
Love you,
That's
Jerry.
not it. A burned child loves the fire, and that came to mind.
That's a
I'm
very
sure at
good-
some
that's a
point
very
Oscar
good
Wilde
one.
said "Good night, sweet pea."
Right.
One would hope.
Right. So, yeah, I'm just loving this journey we're on because I was the biggest Kenobi naysayer. I was very much like, this is unnecessary. We don't need them to fight. We don't need all this stuff to happen.
Mm-mm.
And here I am clamoring for the next Wednesday
Yeah.
and just
Mm.
scratching an itch. And, like, it's
Yeah.
good stuff.
I
It's really
mean,
good stuff.
You can go back to old episodes, and we're both talking like, yeah, I don't know what they would do with an Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, what's he gonna do? Just be sitting in the desert?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I know everybody. Well, not everybody, but I know a lot of people in the fandom think that they're better writers. But to me, going into this, I thought, yeah, it is going to be boring because he's just on. Is it going to be on Tatooine the whole time? Like, is he just going to be like creeping around the corner watching a 10-year-old child or however
Right.
old, and but the way they've taken the story, I was like, there's stakes to it there, because it is kind of difficult when you have this character and this character, this character and this character. You already know that they're in this show and this series of movies after the fact, and so it's like, is there any danger here? But I really have enjoyed sort of the stakes and episode 3.
Man.
Woo!
There's
Woo,
something
episode
about
3.
There was
threes.
stakes.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, yeah, and what's it's hard to believe it's halfway over, but it is, and I'm excited for the rest of this wild ride for sure. I highly encourage give Deborah Chow all of the
Please,
Star
all
Wars.
of it.
her and Ryan Johnson, just let them
And Taika.
have fun, and Taika. Supposedly his project is moving forward. Maybe next year. I'm dying for some news for Ryan Johnson's trilogy though.
I
But
know.
Me too.
we'll get there as soon as he's done with the sweater wars that is Knives Out trilogy
Love it.
or whatever.
And much more of that, please.
Oh
Please,
yeah.
More of
it's
that.
so
Well,
good.
yes, the sooner he gets that done, the sooner he can get back to a Star Wars. Well, no, I want both. Star Wars. Ryan knows how to wreck me. It's just I'm just gonna put it out there.
Happy Friday.
And so you guys answered very happily and willingly to the challenge of picking your top 3 favorite Jedi. And I don't know how you approached. I know we definitely go a big like favorite is not like best.
No.
Like I definitely know none of mine are like the best Jedis. 2 of them are dead. So, like obviously they weren't the best in that situation. So, but for whatever reason, they're super important to me and meaningful and everything. And so, if listeners, dear lovelies, if your favorite's not on here, don't take it personally. Don't be like every other Star Wars fan and think everything is personally about you. Just sound off in the comments and let us know. That's all you got to do. Just tell us your favorite. We would love to hear it and geek out and be positive with you. But we are not attacking you if we forget yours, because I most definitely have. I know 2 out of 3 are not typical, and so I'm very interested. So what I thought would be interesting is we all go around with our third, then our second, then our first. All count down together and see how it goes.
Okay.
Did you actually put yours in order?
No, but I'm mentally doing it now.
All right, so Boop will be last.
You know how much I hate ranking things.
Do it
Okay.
live. Do it live.
So
Alright.
level of favoritism is
Okay.
really all I'm.
Well, yeah,
You,
okay.
the way I did, I started with this is definitively my favorite, and then was like who's a little bit lesser and a
Okay.
little bit lesser.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
So, Justin, would you like to start us off? This is your second episode. You got the big boy pants now.
Yay! I'm a veteran.
You can say no, but I will judge you.
Judge you a lot. I'll judge you whether or not you say no.
True.
That's just
My
good.
third favorite Jedi is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Ooh.
Love it.
Do I say why yet, or do we
Yes.
say
Yeah.
why? Okay.
That's how podcast works, buddy.
no, we're just saying it and then leaving it. That's the way it works. No, Qui-Gon is my favorite, and he's an acquired favorite because when episode 1 came out, I was still wee, and obviously Qui-Gon is not the most important character to that movie. Well, maybe you could make the argument, but he's certainly sort of like a parental figure, a mentor figure, and certainly not the character that I was paying attention to at that time. I just cared about Anakin. I wanted to know how you get B from A. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because
Right.
I didn't see episode 1 until after I'd seen all 3 of the OG.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to. My dad told me. He said, who that is, and I think there was that movie poster that was like.
Oh, yeah, the, like,
Anakin
shadow?
standing there with the shadow, the Vader.
Oh, such a good poster.
Who's your
such a
daddy?
good
That's
poster.
awesome.
Anyway.
Fun
Go
fact.
ahead.
That's actually Jake Lloyd's shadow.
Oh, awesome.
No, it's not.
No. Like how would you know that very esoteric fact?
Because
But
it's John.
if it's Star Wars, I believe you, and for you to
I both appreciate and fear that I have that much authority in your life.
you do, you absolutely do.
John said it, so it has
It's
to
really
be.
the
Oh my God.
confidence with which you say things.
Thank you. I worked on that.
But anyway, but you see like the departure to Anakin. Like everybody wants to talk about Anakin when it comes to like episode 1 or something, or at least that's the way it was when I was younger. But going back and watching as much as I do, the prequel trilogy.
Got it.
Thanks. I got there eventually. Anyway, Qui-Gon Jinn, because he's very wise. He's very he really, probably the most important thing to me is that he isn't afraid to question things, like questioning tradition, questioning, is this even the right way of doing things? Is this even worth it in terms of, me trying to follow this path and me doing what I know to be right or kind or it's kind of hard to put words to all of that sort of background stuff, but yeah, that's a lot of the reason why I like Qui-Gon, because I relate to that in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Probably too much, and it results in the same thing where you
Right.
start getting criticism, and it's like,
If
why do you
you
always
just-
have to open your mouth and
Yeah, if you just
why do you have to be
followed
so
your-
contrary? And
Yeah, you'd already be on the council if you just behaved, right? Yeah. Deep cut there.
OG.
So,
Yeah.
interestingly, though, because of your number 3, you introduce an interesting caveat I'm going to add in. So, if someone else mentions it in another ranking, their favorite, and you also have it, you can mention it. So, my favorite, my number 1, actually, is Qui-Gon.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
just because I feel like nothing's going to be said later in the episode that you haven't and can't be said here, but like all of the things you highlight are actually the biggest things to me that make him my favorite. And extracurricular media. Like one of the littlest things that I really love is a little comic from the Age of Republic series. It's literally one issue, and it's just about him trusting the Force and mulling things over and challenging, like, it is my conviction to the right thing or to this institution, and trying to reconcile the two, because sometimes his conviction is the institution, but sometimes the institution goes against it. And I think anybody that's worked somewhere, or I mean, especially if you've been a part of a religious institution, or if you've just been in a group, a club, you've had those times where it's like, I agree sometimes with the mass, but sometimes I'm realizing I'm just here because of what I personally believe. All kinds of weird, deep stuff, but like all of that, and the fact that he is like the embodiment of like a found father kind of figure. For me, I'm just
Don't
like,
do it.
I didn't have one, okay? So I look to the strange man in the robes in the desert that's like, hey, you've got things in your blood that make you special. You want to come with me? Like,
Which is how you came to our family. Yes.
exactly. I would have said yes in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
It's true.
Like, I love Qui-Gon, and also it's Liam Neeson. Like, that
Yeah.
man is fantastic.
He's beautiful.
It has consistently been my favorite of any role he's ever played.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You mean you don't like Taken?
I was actually thinking about Taken
Right? Oh, man.
specifically, or that small cameo he did in what was that movie with the teddy bear? Ted talking about the trick cereal. No, if I
yes.
buy
Oh,
it,
yes, I've seen that
I'm
clip.
not gonna
I
be
have not
taken to
watched that
jail.
movie, but I
I
have
haven't
seen that
either.
clip, and I only watched it because of Liam Neeson.
That's a very nice one.
Uh,
That's
love
another
that.
podcast.
so a slight caveat to take it back. We did we mentioned Kenobi, so I have to ask:
Indeed.
any bets, any thoughts? Do you think Qui-Gon's going to show up,
Yes.
or
Oh,
Absolutely.
they're teeing it up
can't.
so much.
Do you mean as a person or as a?
I mean, I don't care if it's a
now
voice.
that's a good debate though too. Yeah, is it gonna be physical or is it gonna be more of the Force voice? You know,
I just
that's
want him.
yeah.
I
Oh, 100%. Me too.
Yeah,
I want to see him.
buddy.
I definitely want to see him because I feel like that'd be a big like he was the one that learned it and now he's teaching
Mhm.
Obi. So like I think
Yeah.
we have to see him in that form because then Obi-Wan knows that he can achieve that. So like
Right.
I
Well,
mean not to say that we can't the voice wouldn't work either, but like I got Liam
I think-
Neeson in the robes, blue.
Yes.
Give it to me.
no,
Just give it to
I
me.
definitely would give a very. I would be emotional either way, but
You're gonna cry.
you would get a lot more out of me if I see him.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
But like, would it not be the most like, or at least to me, like meaningful thing of like Obi-Wan ending the series with renewed hope can finally
Yes.
connect with his like
Yeah.
that was the barrier. Like
Yeah.
I'm such a big proponent of, sometimes it's you're the thing in the way, and
Mhm.
like you have to change you to a certain point of view to actually
Mhm.
access. Like, oh my God, give it
Yeah.
to me.
I feel
Um,
like Qui-Gon will be something that maybe gets Obi-Wan like over the hump. Like somehow they, I think maybe Qui-Gon realizes that he needs to connect to him instead of like Obi-Wan keep reaching out to him. Like I think it's gonna
You're
take
giving me feels,
Qui-Gon.
Lauren.
I know. This is what I do. So, but
Yes.
what
I
you
think
do.
having Qui-Gon be the one to be like talk to Obi-Wan and be like, listen, you can do this. Like, yeah, Anakin fell. That sucks, but you still have purpose. You
Yeah.
still have your destiny, your like path to follow. So like, don't lose that. 'Cause
Literally,
I love following his journey from here to Rebels to like A New
Mhm.
Hope. Like, oh
yeah. I mean, it's literally the Yoda Luke scene from The Last Jedi.
yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Like, oh my
Correct.
gosh. And
Yes.
it would, if they hit me with that, Deborah
Poetry and
Chow,
rhymes, people. Just
hey,
like
Deborah
George keeps
Chow,
saying. Yeah.
you heard it here. You have complete access to destroy me. Like,
Yeah,
like-
I also have this exactly. I have this moment in my mind that reminds me of that thing in episode 2 where Anakin's about to or is in the process of starting to go after the Sand People,
Mhm.
and it's that moment of crossover. And there's that voice that shouts out, and it is his voice, right? Like I've never confirmed that, but I was like, oh, that sounded like Qui-Gon. And
Qui-Gon.
that's almost like what I want to happen. I've got blinders on. Like I want it to be a moment where Kenobi is just like about to just break and just shatter and maybe
he's
go into
separated.
the dark side. And because he hears that voice,
Mhm.
we could
I
get,
just
like,
want it. I
love
just
that.
want it.
What
Yeah.
are you doing?
So badly.
Right.
Moment.
And I will note, if it does not happen that way, I will accept whatever happens.
Thank
Right,
you.
Right.
But-
Absolutely.
But I love that idea that reminded me of episode 2.
I like the fact that, and I feel like I can say this because this was in the first episode, but I feel like the fact that he's trying to talk to Qui-Gon,
Mhm.
is a big hint. But
Yes.
like you just like, I will be happy with anything.
Yeah.
I will be
If it's
I
a
will be
picture on his wall that he
I'd
just
like to-
the good old days.
I'd like to propose some feels, if I may.
Uh-oh.
So we've
Uh-oh.
seen,
Uh-oh.
in Tross that Force ghosts can interact with physical objects. So what if Obi-Wan is about to bring his lightsaber down on someone, maybe Vader, maybe someone else, and Qui-Gon catches it and is like, "No, I'm not gonna let you do this."
I feel like anything where they lead with a hand, like
Boo.
it, like so a lot like with the Rise of Skywalker when Luke caught the saber that Rey
Yes.
threw, like that hand got more emotion out of me than everything that followed because it just hit that way. Like if we lead with a Qui-Gon hand
Yeah.
or something, like
Man,
Mm.
there's so much
game
power
over, man.
in
Game over.
ghosts in the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah,
Because like you
Right.
can the Hey Kid
destroying
like,
us from beyond. Yep.
The
Anyway.
Hey Kid, that gets
So-
me every time. Yeah.
So now we've gotten 2 on the table. My number 1, Justin's number 3. Lauren, your number 3.
So my number 3 is a gentleman by the name of Cal Kestis.
Ooh.
Don't
He
tell
is one
Connor.
of my favorite. I know where's Connor when you need him.
Right.
Cal Kestis, I just love these type of like what we're getting in new Star Wars. Like obviously in the original trilogy, we know of Obi-Wan and Yoda and Luke. And then the prequels, we get to see more of Jedi and more of what they stand for. And then we get into kind of like this new era of Jedi, and it's like, man, maybe what like we kind of talked about earlier, maybe the Jedi aren't what they really were supposed to be. And then you have these Jedi like Cal Kestis like go on this beautiful journey of like finding himself after going through trauma of Order 66, losing his master in front of him. He goes on this like really deep and existential journey of like finding himself again, figuring out who he is in this new universe and becoming this like amazing Jedi and just this amazing like person that believes in, maybe he doesn't call himself a Jedi like anymore, kind of like Ahsoka, but he is a Jedi. He feels like he's a Jedi that is following what he should be doing, following
Yeah.
his path, his own destiny, and trusting the Force. Just kind of like what Qui-Gon, I think, did too, as we see in like comics and books and everything. Qui-Gon really felt the Force and he followed it, and I think Cal Kestis is very similar to that. Like he follows the Force, he trusts the Force to do what's right, and for it to follow him or for it to show him the correct path.
Yeah.
And I mean the whole thing on Ilum, if you play Jedi Fallen Order, it
Oh my
breaks me
gosh.
every time when he goes through that whole process. And then even watching him as a youngling see Order 66, it breaks you. It really does. I mean, we see that a lot. Order 66.
Yeah.
It's
we're-
kind of
we're-
a thing.
I think they're going for 66. I think.
Yes,
Gotta
yes,
get
you're
to that point.
right, exactly. But yeah, I think Cal Kestis to me is just one of those Jedi that I think is it's just a cool character because now it's not just your typical, Jedi Council person or this or that. Like it's these Jedi that had to find themselves without being trained through like regular old means that we were used to. So it's just a great journey, and that's why I think he's one of my favorite top 3 for sure is Cal Kestis.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Justin, have you played Jedi Fallen Order?
So I'm one of those weirdos on the internet that does not play every video game that comes out, but there are
Me
people
too.
that I watch do playthroughs.
Oh, that's so fun.
I got to watch yeah, exactly. I got to watch 3 Star Wars geeks who kind of did like a book club podcast of the new canon as it was coming out and unfolding and everything. And so basically I watched my favorite YouTuber play it, and to watch all the things that happened, especially on the, shall we say, the snowy last planet at the end of the video game and what that ended up being and all that kind of stuff. But
You mean Starkiller?
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was so good. Well, I didn't know if it was a spoiler or not. I'm
Listen,
trying to be
that game
came
came out,
careful.
5 years ago.
No, not quite. But I
Star
will-
Wars fans are scary though.
I will say, like,
No.
we were talking about like the first taste. Like it came out the year of, but like we were talking about the first real stuff we got from Jedi Fallen Order at Celebration back in Chicago. So it's been out
yeah.
that long.
Yeah.
It like I think, and especially, I mean, it's getting a sequel. It's been long enough. Once the
that
next one
sequel
comes out,
already. Yeah.
Yeah.
game over.
I should
But
also add as a point of order, but that's actually my second favorite on my list, Cal Kestis. So
Look at that.
I actually was interested to see what the overlap was going to be and if there would be overlap. But yeah,
I'm surprised
and,
about this
and
one.
I echo everything Lauren said. The process of having to live through that kind of trauma, because a lot of times, I shouldn't generalize it like that. And sorry if you can hear a baby in the background.
It's just Charlie. He's
Just
my favorite Jedi.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
the baby. It's not
Yeah.
mine, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things about Star Wars, and that have a lot of control over their mindset and what's going on, and that's sort of something that's taught to the Jedi. But something that Cal Kestis was like brought to not the screen but the video game, I guess, is what you do when there is no controlling the situation that you're in, and having to, like, it's just that the first mission of that video game was perfect. It was so good. I mean, yeah, you also get to see a bunch of like busted up starships that they were like having to work on, and that whole era of time is like perfect for me. I think that's why I went ahead and just jumped into Kenobi without having to watch a lot of extra stuff beforehand to like catch up, I guess.
There's a recap right before it.
Well, recap.
Yeah.
Now.
I actually we started
recap,
playing the recap over dinner when we first started watching the first episode, and my wife skipped it, and I was like, okay, all right.
So
That's a choice.
Right now.
She don't need no recap.
So to let you know, and for the other people that like their feelies tickled every now and then by Star Wars, it's under the extras for Kenobi, so you can watch it again, all 5 glorious minutes over and over.
And I will cry.
I've
Every
lost
time.
count how many times I've done it.
That recap was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, as that was happening, I was like, why wasn't this the trailer? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but no, I love Cal. I love the game because it's been a long time since we've gotten a Star Wars game with a fleshed out character.
Yeah.
I love Starkiller. Like, I love Galen Merrick. Like, don't get me wrong, The Force Unleashed was fun, but it's definitely, he's a video game character. It's not and I'm gonna offend some people, but he's not a Star Wars character.
Say it in strength.
Thank you.
Well,
Say it with your chest.
it's made as a video game to be a video game and nothing more. And so he's a video game character. Now he's a Star Wars video game character, but he doesn't read and he doesn't journey the same way.
He can't read. Starkiller can't read.
And if anybody's offended, at Sam Witwer and make him come tell me I'm wrong. But like, it's not a lesser thing. It's just about how you go through the journey of that character. Right?
Philosophy of video games has very much changed since that video game to this one. Force Unleashed to this one. The philosophy is much more, make it story heavy. And if they want game mechanics, I don't know, make it look like Dark Souls. They'll love that stuff, right?
Right.
And I really think that's a lot of the success that it's been, because I thought it was going to crash and burn. I thought nobody's going to want a story about a Jedi, about something that happened, over a decade ago and things and people ate it up, and it was so good.
Well, I mean, even us, again, to catch us in our naysay, like, even we were like, another one.
Yeah.
Like, there was this idea of like a great justification. Like, why another new Jedi? Couldn't we have had a character we knew? Couldn't have been like Quinlan Bot?
Redo the bounty hunter game. Redo the bounty hunter game
With better mechanics.
With any other mechanics.
Actually playable.
God.
Remake Commandos, please.
I have
Commandos.
I have rage quit that game so many times, and I keep coming back to it because I just want to hear the silky voice of Tamara Morrison. But now I can just watch the Book of Boba Fett. So there we go. Anyway, like, I as much as I love Galen Merrick, like, if you want a real example of it, play the original God of War and play the 2017-18 version, whichever. But like, the span of going from, we're going to give you puzzles and tasks to accomplish and feats to do, like, that's the goal of gaming, to now it's like, no, we want you to experience a story. You are in the story.
I want you to pee your pants
Right.
when you hear Vader start breathing in the background of that video game.
Man.
And I gotta tell you, I had to lean back in my chair. I was like, no shot, they brought Vader up here?
Well,
The game's over. That's how it ends.
Well, Lauren mentioned it, like, the Order 66 stuff was what got me, because it was just like, Force vision, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I'm 6 years old and wide-eyed and clueless about what's happening. I'm fist bumping clone troopers on the way.
Oh my
Like
god.
I got so attached so fast,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it betrayed me.
And
It
then
was
the
so bad.
music, they use the Order 66 music. Oh
Oh,
my god. Wrecked
and
me
then
every time. Every
yeah,
time.
like could be the Cal Kestis cast, honestly, because I just
It could.
man.
I'm pretty sure that Connor would be very upset.
Oh,
if we
Sam
did the
Ritter
calc-
can't read.
I don't.
He would
He
be.
reads a lot.
Kevin, make that a shirt and wear it to the next celebration. Or, well, the next one you can go to.
Get
Yeah.
donkey kicked.
Because as
by
we've
Sam
discussed,
Ritter.
I mean, I'd pay for it. But like
It's
as we've
true.
discussed,
Happy Pride, everyone.
London is not happening for Nerdherder.
No.
Just FYI.
We got
So
a Scotty to see.
right, another year in waiting. But you know what? It's
Yeah.
fine. I could miss all the Star Wars news. I was just jealous of the friends, honestly.
It's
I
true.
just want to hang out with all you beautiful Star Wars people. So Lauren, so that was Lauren's 3. Your
Yes.
2, Justin?
Yes.
All right, so Boop,
Yes.
your
it's my
3.
turn.
Yes.
Well, my number 3 is purely a that's cool choice.
Mhm.
And
Oh.
that's a lot of
I thought you got distracted for a second. I'm sorry.
I know it's very easy for me to get distracted. I
Look at the
understand.
comments.
We're standing in front of a lot of toys. But man, I love Shock T.
Oh,
Shock T is
I
so
like
cool.
it. Love
I
it.
like
Love
okay.
it.
I'm gonna say I haven't played the Force Unleashed all the way through, so I'm gonna kind of ignore that Shock T in the bikini.
Oh, don't worry. The writers did too, because
Yeah.
they killed her 3 more times.
Exactly. She has died more than any other Jedi. I would like to say that out
Right,
loud.
like, and I'll give this right back to you. But Star Wars writers, what you got against Shock T? Like, how many more death scenes does she need?
So many.
My goodness, the original Togruta Queen, though.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the original.
Yeah.
The original.
Shock T, she is beautiful. She is tall. She is my wife. But mostly she is cool. Like
Oh,
I loved seeing her in the 2003 Clone Wars series.
Oh,
That is
yes.
peak Shock T to me. Like
Mhm.
absolutely wrecking shop. Just going to town.
I love all of that so
It's
much.
so good. And like
Mhm.
the way that she faces off with Grievous, even though she dies for the first time, is absolutely fantastic. And then,
Mhm.
we get to see a little bit of her in the prequels, but finding out watching the Clone Wars that she is in charge of the clones training, like all of the coolness of the clones is partially because of Shock T.
Okay.
Mostly
I'll give it to you.
Mostly because of Jango Fett, but partially
I mean, if you
because of
when a
Shock T.
Shock T and a Fett love each other very much,
I don't think
you get a
they-
very happy
okay.
fascist army. So,
They would not have like made a good couple.
We're walk it back. Walk it back.
Walk it back.
you know
Would not
what?
have been a good stepmom.
It's actually a very bad choice that they went with thousands of your clones all cast in white armor. Like I'm seeing it now and regretting it. But
Yeah.
like also speaking of clones, well, I don't know, is it too much? It was in episode 2 of it was in
Yeah.
part 2 of Kenobi.
Yes.
Is that too much?
Yes.
Mm.
I want that to be like fully talked about.
Look, all I'm saying is Tamora Morrison finally wore non-CGI clone armor.
I know, and
and
that was amazing.
Oh,
Oh,
give me all the clone dad bods. Like
I was immediately sus.
he was gonna be like, gotcha. I still
Yeah.
get to keep the quarters though, right? Like
Yes.
I had to
What's
pause. I'll
up?
just say I had to pause the episode. When it happened, I was just like,
Yeah,
I
we
needed
had to
a- I
take
ne-
a
I
minute.
needed a minute.
Need a
'cause
minute.
As soon as he raised the helmet, we paused.
There's a
and
lot there.
stood up.
I just love the Maori daddy, and
Talking
it gets
about my
to me.
Togruta wife and my husband's Maori daddy. Like, happy Pride,
What has
everyone.
this show become? I don't know.
We love it.
It's a
We
lot.
love it.
Well, Shock T for anyone else? Going once, going twice.
I didn't think so.
That's a great choice. That's a great
No,
choice. though.
first,
I
no
love it.
overlap to happen. So,
Mhm.
and then I've already mentioned my 1. So I
Go
guess
for
I
your
could,
2.
my
I
2.
think. Yeah.
No, I didn't do my 3.
You do your 3, yeah. Do your
I'll
3.
do my
Wait.
3. I get to go twice
You do get to go twice. Go for it.
because it's
baby.
my podcast. So my number 3, So I did mention earlier, 2 of my 3 are dead. I mentioned one who's dead, Qui-Gon, and I don't think anybody who knows me well enough would be very surprised if you follow me on Twitter or the podcast on Twitter. Like Qui-Gon shouldn't be a surprise. The Phantom Menace
No.
is my favorite movie.
Mhm.
So like you had to see it coming. But my number 3, even I was honestly surprised because I like really molded over. Like I said, I started with Qui-Gon, and then I was like, all right, what based on what I love about this guy, is there anyone else that does that, but not maybe the same or I don't know. And I started to see a trend, I will say, and so it reached my third one,
Dads.
which sort of, which my number 3 is Caleb Doom,
Yeah,
aka
love that.
Kanan Jarrus.
Ooh.
I don't know who that
Um,
one is.
You haven't seen
What's he?
that
What's
one?
he from? What's he
You
from? So I can Google it real
saucy
quick.
little
Star Wars
sausage.
Rebels.
Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who that is.
You
Yep.
know who that is.
So
My bad.
I will say it helped that we did a rewatch of Rebels together
Yes.
last year. That was probably like my 4th or 5th time watching it, and something about watching it with you, it changed a lot about perspectives. Not a complete 180 on things, but definitely different thoughts, different feelings about all of that, and something about the way you latched onto the familial side of it really hit me hard because I really feel that Caleb Doom is the tip of the spear on that. He is
Mm.
the driving force of the familial bond of the Ghost crew, of the master and apprentice relationship with
Yeah.
Ezra.
He be the daddy.
I loved so much more about him on this last rewatch, and he stood out. I really love Ezra. Sabine's my favorite Rebels character, or I like that's what I would have said prior to this, but like something about Caleb this last time, I really fell in love with his journey. And yeah, I just kind of the similar tenets of Qui-Gon where he just steps out of bounds. And some of what you guys have mentioned about Cal Kestis, I think the best Jedi are good people, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like that trend really started with Rebels when we started to get this Jedi kind of trying to find his way and teach a
Mhm.
little kid, and you bring back Ahsoka and she's on this journey, not claiming to be a Jedi and all of this stuff, and it's just I liked so much that it didn't end with a happy master and apprentice story. It became
Mm.
a personal journey for every character involved. And yeah, Caleb, like I said, I think he was just the driving force of that. So plus Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Kanan is my number one. Kanan Jarrus is my
Yes.
number one.
Nice.
He is, and for a multitude of reasons. I mean, his journey. If you read I think is a
A
New
New
Dawn,
Dawn. Mm-hmm.
beautiful book, and you see him again in like a broken state, almost right, like very obviously he drinks a lot. He's just doing stuff just to survive, like, and it's not until he crosses paths with Hera that he finally finds a purpose.
Mm.
And that purpose leads him to finding Ezra, which is the most beautiful master Padawan relationship, I think, in Star Wars by none. And a
Mm.
lot of that is because of Kanan. Because I
Mm.
love Kanan's reluctancy to want to teach Ezra, or even to really know how to teach Ezra. Because he even says so many times, he's like, Ezra, I don't know what I'm doing. My training is limited, but I can only share what I know and we can learn together. And that
Mm.
was like one of the best, I think, journeys we have seen in Star Wars, is his journey of like this reluctant, you know, Jedi turned Jedi master, really, in my eyes. And then at the end, to know that his path leads him to sacrificing himself so his crew can survive.
Mm.
It's mind blowing. It's so good. The writing's so good. Freddie Prinze Jr. is amazing. And then when he becomes blind in the series, like, just, oh my god.
Mm.
And then him and the Bendu are fantastic. Like, their conversations, and like his knowledge of the Force just grows and grows and grows. I think each season too. It's just
Yeah.
he's my favorite. He's my number one. That's why he's my number one. I love him so much. It's just
Well,
he's a great character.
and like you mentioned, like his post season 2 stuff really dived
Oh, oh,
so like
So
oh.
good.
it's
Mwah.
just where it gets more into the balance and the gray in between and stuff like that. Like I
Don't summon Freddie Prinze Jr. by saying gray. Please.
well, not necessarily the gray, but the balance for
Yes.
sure.
Right.
Like I mean that's the thing. Like Rebels and I again I'm just outing myself as naysayer. Like and I mostly do this just to say like everybody that has preconceived ideas and all this other stuff, like it can completely get blown out of the water, and you can also be okay with it if you roll with it. Because so many things have completely surprised me in Star Wars, and I have been so glad that it's been different than what I expected. When they said Rebels, I was thinking of something like Rogue One, guys in the trenches, the big battle, take down an AT-AT Walker, like
You almost said
all
AT-AT.
that stuff. But instead, we get such a philosophical and personal journey. And like you mentioned, you know, with meeting Hera and all this, like some of the best examples of relationships, like familial, like friendships, all of that, like some of the best done relational character work, I
And the
think, in
best
Star
droid.
Wars.
And the
Oh
best-
yeah,
yeah.
Chopper's the best droid,
It's
hands
true.
down, hands
Chopper's the
down.
best. Yeah.
Who's Ned B? I don't know.
We actually got, I was able to, super side note because we're kind of on it, but we were at the Mando panel on Saturday and Rosario Dawson came out. They showed some Ahsoka footage, which was mind blowing, but they brought on stage Chopper.
Yeah.
And I about freaked out. I was there's my
would've.
boy. I love him so much. And
Yes, my little
Dave
murder
was
bot.
there. Right. It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it so
you
much.
know, I'm excited for the show Ahsoka.
Yes,
I'm
the
excited
show I'm very
for.
excited for. You should.
Oh yes, I mean, you know, it's not exactly how I would have wanted my Rebels story to continue,
Yes.
but I'm happy it's continuing because as we've talked a good bit about, I love those characters
Oh,
so much.
so
that
good.
you know, Justin, any thoughts on Star Wars Rebels? Not to dox you.
I'm familiar.
What's your favorite episodes, Justin? Let's talk about it.
The first one just.
What'd you think of season
good.
5?
Justin.
I'll tell you what.
Anyway,
I'll tell you what. If you watch the Stranger Things 4 seasons, I'll watch them.
okay, all right, deal.
We'll do it.
Ooh,
Deal.
I mean, the thing about it is, I just need time.
Yeah,
And I don't have any time right now.
And
Well, I would love to go back and watch those shows
listen, if you weren't,
because I haven't seen Clone Wars either. If I can
if
out
you
myself
weren't my
on that one as
brother-in-law,
well.
and if I didn't love you, I wouldn't jest you about it. We literally talked about like this week. We were like, you know, forcing adults to watch Star Wars stuff is difficult because some of the magic is lost. Like, I mean, and perfectly honest, like Rebels hit so many themes that are so relevant and important for kids.
So
Much
good.
of Star Wars does. When we say Star Wars is for kids, we mean it hits on things that they are absolutely steeped in. Part of the reason I think so many adults are so backwards about Star Wars or just don't get it is because you've got it baked in now. Like you didn't have this story, and not that I'm putting that much emphasis on Star Wars, but you didn't have stories like this to show you a different or a better or another way. And so now you're just the way you are, and it's just not going to sink in for you. At least not right now. I always tell people to try, but
Well, perhaps
Adults are
the adults that we're seeing posting on Twitter about Star Wars should probably go back and watch some of these shows.
I'm
Pay
not
attention.
sure they've watched Star Wars.
Right.
if I'm
No,
being
I
really
agree,
honest.
very
I
true.
don't think they paid attention.
Like
No.
it is a fictional universe, but it's pretty sad when we need to create a fictional universe to tell us how to work in our actual universe. But anyway, so I guess that would put it back to you, Justin, for your number 2. Number 3.
I already did my number 2, Cal Kestis.
That's
Should
right.
I do
Oh,
my
so you're number
3?
1.
What's your number 1, Jeff?
These
Yes.
numbers are so
So
confusing.
it's a cop out. It's a really big cop out, and I'm
Is
kind
it
of
Obi-Wan
ashamed
Kenobi?
about it. No, it's me. My favorite Jedi is the Jedi from KOTOR. KOTOR 2 specifically. It is a cop out. I know it's gross. I know
okay.
it's
I
gross,
like it.
but
I want to hear
but
this.
there's something.
So anyway,
Put it back in.
That's so
Oh
messed
my
up.
Okay,
gosh.
Justin, what were you saying?
So messed up. I'm ashamed of you.
This is bad comedy.
No, my favorite thing about any fantasy story is when I get to relate that to myself. Because everybody wants to be a hero. Everybody wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves, or see themselves as one of those important characters of the story. And I think a lot of us could just look real hard and maybe throw some antidepressants in, and maybe we could see that in ourselves. But Zoloft aside, I think everybody wants to be a part of that, right? Any Star Wars fan wants to be a part of that. Maybe perhaps not in the most fascist periods of Empire rule, but certainly there was something about being a kid playing KOTOR 2, because I haven't played KOTOR 1, but playing KOTOR 2, waking up in the space station, not knowing at all anything that had happened. I wasn't aware of Old Republic anything. Didn't know who Revan or Malak was, and that was probably for the best. But being able to play those video games and putting myself in an RPG setting, being able to help out characters and be genuinely afraid when you see cutscenes with Darth Sion in them.
Yeah,
right. Like
sort of pain.
The man's just torn to pieces and holding himself together, and just to be upset, right? Just to be grouchy all the time. You tell me that you think Darth Vader suffers. I don't think so. He's not in many pieces. But yeah, like there was just something always about that I loved, being able to put myself in some of those fantastic stories, and being able to be a Jedi is one of the coolest things. So yeah, you're just going to have to accept my cop-out answer.
So I like your cop-out answer.
As difficult of a time as I give you, I have a lot of respect and love for your choice. Honestly, bold, because I didn't see that coming. But no, I completely get it. I mean, KOTOR did what our imaginations couldn't as kids, I think, and really put us in Star Wars. Like I loved waving around a stick and imagining, because I didn't have a dad to buy me a lightsaber, but I did have a mom to buy me a video game. Because as I've shared before on this podcast, I could just be like, "Hey, Mom, can I have this?" And my mom would be like, "Yes," and not check the rating, not check anything about it, not ask me at all ever again.
Christy Wilcox is the GOAT.
And so, but KOTOR is amazing. And you know what? It's perfectly valid because your character's canon. That's how that whole thing works.
See,
it's legit.
I'm in there.
Love you, Raven.
Love you, Raven.
Friend of the show.
Beautiful.
Previous guest of the show as well.
Yes.
She likes boots, so I feel like she'd have a lot of Jedi opinions to have, because
I live in Texas. We like boots.
They be rocking a lot of Jedi boots in the Star Wars universe. Like
that's the two things I know about Texas: they love boots and they hate rice.
You know what? The thing is, all right, like Luke Skywalker started this, because remember Obi-Wan is wearing to the dirt skirt, you don't see what he's got under there. You know he's got shoes supposedly, but you don't know if he's got
I don't
boots.
know. He strikes me as a shoeless and Trader Joe's type.
But episode 6 rolls around, those nice glossy black boots of Luke's. George Lucas was like, "Yeah, I got to do that
There's
more
no
often."
underwear in space, but there's boots.
But talk to me when Gucci is it Gucci that sponsored Judge Dredd?
I have no idea.
It was one of those ridiculous brands, but if
sounds like something Balenciaga would do.
Yeah, but all that stuff was designer made, especially Sylvester.
Don't mess with the Gucci sponsorship.
Right. By the way, have you heard about the new Gooch? Hashtag not a sponsor. All right. Well, that lovely yet ridiculous answer aside.
Thank you.
I knew Kev would know. He knows the muscly
fashionista.
movies. Yes. So Versace.
Check out Kev's Gooch.
Check out
Don't do that.
Sylvester, sponsored by Versace and Judge Dredd, a moderately okay action movie.
It's fine.
But after this, because we still have a couple to go. It's a movie. So I think you got your number one. No, you got your number 2 left, Lauren.
Yes.
All right.
2.
I get to talk a lot.
So I shouldn't be a big surprise, but it's Ahsoka Tano. She is my number 2.
Your face betrays you.
I'm not trying to.
So does her shirt.
I know.
The shirt betrays them.
True.
But she is just the epitome of, I think, very much like, again, I think like Qui-Gon, like Kanan, like Cal Kestis, like they follow their own path that they feel is right, even though they might not be quote unquote Jedi, so to speak. They follow their own path. I mean, this girl was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan.
Mm.
Learned from the best. Hung out with Obi-Wan all the time, right? And then she decided once the Jedi Order turned their back on her, she was like, "Yep, peace out. I'm done. Like I don't need you guys. I can do my own thing, live my own life, and still be the person I want to be." And that whole arc in Clone Wars season 7 is amazing.
Mm.
When she meets the Martez sisters, who I love. I love the Martez sisters as well. But that whole arc of her, again, kind of figuring out who she is. And then she does figure out who she wants to be. And then she becomes Fulcrum, as we know. And it's just a beautiful journey. She's like just a beautiful character, just a strong character that we get to see still. I mean, she's getting her, that character's getting their own show, which is amazing. I mean, she has been like a block of this person that you can follow through the entire Star Wars story, right from
Yeah.
beginning and then continuing right now. So like it's so cool. And again, like when they showed the footage at Celebration, it was amazing. And I'm just so excited for that character to learn more. Even though we have learned so much, there's still more to learn about her. And again, this is Dave Filoni's like baby, so like he's gonna treat her right every time. And I'm very excited to see where she goes from here, what stories they're gonna tell in the Ahsoka series. Like that's just, I'm so excited, and that's why she's my number 2. I mean, she's just a fabulous, a solid role model, really, for female fans as well. I mean, Star Wars fans in general, but like again, to have a strong female character like her is very cool to see because we don't get them too much.
No.
And an epitome
Yeah.
of Star Wars, for sure, as a character.
And I haven't seen the show, but I know that one.
You do know that one.
I know some of these
Because
were.
wasn't she the Padawan of
Yeah, in Clone Wars.
Anakin? Thank you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
I knew that. And she has a nickname. What was the nickname?
Snips.
Hers was
Snips.
Snips and Sky Guy, which
Yep.
that moment at Celebration,
Oh.
like all
Yep.
I'm gonna say is her saying that to Hayden and seeing them
Ah.
together is all the more reason I am sad it's not her
Right.
going to be in the
get it.
show
Yeah,
next
for
year.
sure.
But
I
For
have
sure.
feelings,
For sure. I
but
get
we've
it.
been through them.
yeah, I mean Ashley's just such an amazing
Yeah.
person too. Like, I mean, I know you Boop are going to talk about Tano yourself, but like
What?
just to highlight because
Who said
know
that?
I mean, Cameron Monaghan as Cal Kestis.
Oh God,
I
I
would,
hope he gets
I would
the
say
live
Freddie
action.
Prinze Jr. has done some things for the fandom, and he's put some people in line for
Yes, he
sure.
has.
Liam Neeson, like Justin Vincent, like all people that have done the roles and done them well and everything, and been good people through that part of their journey of Star Wars. But Ashley is really just, and I don't think Star Wars did it to her. I think that's just who she is. But she is definitely completely stepped into
Yep.
this iconic
Mhm.
role as a role model, but also as just someone who is thoughtful and representative of the fandom in so many ways. Like, she's just so amazing, and she's someone that I hope never goes away
Absolutely.
from the
Yeah.
fandom.
Yeah.
It's
Gosh,
just
I
here
hope
to
not.
stay.
Mhm.
So yeah. Ahsoka Tano.
Well, you see, Lauren, Ahsoka Tano is my number 1.
Woohoo!
If nobody, I know, absolutely surprised. Nobody saw that coming. I know. I have a lot of favorite characters in Star Wars. Obviously Darth Maul, but he's a Sith. He's not a Jedi,
That's
so
a
I can't
different
talk
list.
about him.
Mhm.
But his dyad, which I will say until someone shuts me up verbally. Ahsoka is a character that I have related to, which is so important to me personally. I've loved her since that first little Snips and Sky Guy moment in the Clone Wars movie. Taking care of Jabba the Hutt. I love
Oh.
that. Listen, man, that movie sucks, but it's awesome.
At the same time, right?
It's beautiful.
100%.
It's not beautiful. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's ugly.
It's emotionally beautiful.
It's emotionally beautiful.
It's
But
beautifully messy.
exactly.
It hurts the eyes, but
is
warms the
messy.
heart.
It
Like
warms the heart.
Utterly
There you
Martians.
go.
I would put it on the same
Ooh.
level as.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that show in years.
I think about it every time you show me Beast Wars.
Oh,
Fair. Yeah. But Ahsoka is a character that I have been in the headspace of. Specifically, like I've talked about it so many times at this point. The moment where she leaves the Jedi Order. I watched that and I was like, I know exactly what she's feeling right now. I've been through that. And that was such an emotional push where in that moment she became my favorite Jedi. She became one of my favorite Star Wars characters over everybody else. Because of her not just coolness, which she is super cool, but because of her strength, because of her perseverance of, you know what? I don't need that anymore. That brought me where I am, but you know what? It's time to move on. And that recognizing, you know what I meant.
Good enough.
recognition.
We'll go
Thank
with it.
you. Of that mature decision of, you know what? That's okay. I can say sometimes loving something is saying goodbye to it, and that is good enough. But like she has so many moments in the Clone Wars. I forget the specific episode arc, but the episode where she's leading the clone troopers into battle, and they lose so many clones, and she has to learn that lesson of sometimes you're gonna fail, and you're gonna learn from your mistakes, and you're gonna have to live with that. Like that is powerful stuff. I feel like the Clone Wars is about Ahsoka.
Oh, 100% Boop.
Absolutely, like you cannot deny that. As much as certain fans enjoy doing, but yeah, I love her as a character. I'd love to see where she's going. Honestly, becoming Ahsoka the White is,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to spoil that because I really want Justin to watch and
I
see
will.
what I mean by that.
Right.
But yeah, Ahsoka Tano is my number one.
Yeah, there's something special about characters that not only are cool but are relatable, and that's like something I love so much about the journey of Boba Fett for me. Like I used to be very upfront. Like my favorite character, if you're asking me for my like non-thoughtful answer, is Boba Fett. For a long time, and I tend to go back and forth and change it. But generally, my favorite character, thoughtfully, is Anakin Skywalker. And so it's just about the meaning behind it. But now Boba Fett, the journey he went on to find himself and create this new demeanor and legacy for himself
Yeah.
has made him relatable. And
Yeah.
and now suddenly he's not just cool, but he's like he's my sauce. Like he's something I see myself in a way.
Yeah.
And that's why, and we've hit on this before with Nerdherder, like that's why, like you never know how much of a person is in their choices of Star Wars. Like you never know how much of, Lauren, your favorite character is about who you are less than the character. And it's just like, oh, well, why would you pick them? They're so much weaker than this one in power levels. And
Right.
we want to get so nerdy about it and not realize how personal decisions in Star Wars are sometimes. And Ahsoka Tano as one of those characters,
Yeah.
I mean, you're one of many, I think, who would point to her and be like, they mean something to me,
Yeah.
and
I
I think
mean,
that's so special.
she's a legacy of perseverance
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
growing beyond disappointment.
Well, as you so eloquently put, and we'll have to find it maybe and retweet it because it was brilliant. But Ahsoka, no, Maul is an example of surviving. Ahsoka is an example of thriving.
Exactly.
And
It's living through spite versus living through power in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is the most powerful Jedi. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that.
Hey, she may say she's no Jedi, but as you've hit on,
She's my
Lauren, she
Jedi.
is the most Jedi, not Jedi there is
Exactly.
to ever
She
Jedi.
really
She is a
is.
Jedi in the truest sense.
100%. 100%.
Hit me in the comments with those. She said she's not a Jedi. Like,
Okay.
like
Cool. That doesn't mean that
tell
she
it to
doesn't
Dave
still believe
Filoni.
in it. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Life is full of little disappointments.
Right. Right.
So remind me, because we got so mixed matchy with the numbers.
Have you done
Does
all
anybody?
three?
I have not, but I'm putting out there if anybody else has anything left.
I'm done. I got all three in.
You got all three.
Justin, you
Mhm.
got yours, right?
Yes, but I'm adding as a caveat 1.A that Boop is my favorite Jedi.
Aw.
Shut up.
We love that.
Punk rock Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn. That is something I
Yes.
hadn't thought about, but
He
you know
is
what?
pretty punk
He
rock.
really is.
I definitely think he went through that phase.
Yeah.
He's
I
punches
feel
in the
like
face.
Qui-Gon and Kanan would be like the best of friends.
Oh
true.
yeah, man.
Talk about
Oh.
like Force Ghost Jedi Council and those two looking at everybody else like,
Just
what is
Right.
this little green guy?
Can you
like,
just
get
imagine
outta
them
here. I
from the
know.
other side, just proudly watching their kids, just like,
oh,
Right.
shut up.
how's yours doing today? I don't know. He's still lost, but you know,
He strikes me. He strikes me as like a sort of like the pot smoking older brother. But like I think about that in terms of like his relationship, as far as I understand it, because I know I have a very limited understanding of Star Wars. But when I read had the Dooku book read to me, and it talks about his concern over Sifo-Dyas, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know exactly how far and detailed all that stuff is, or if they talk about it somewhere else or in a TV show or something. But really,
Yes.
that is what Qui-Gon is to me. Is that he's somebody who cares enough, who is willing to let somebody else be in their space of like, I can't tolerate this Jedi stuff anymore, or I don't even think I can be a Jedi anymore, or anything like that. And he's strong enough to be able to. That's not what the Jedi is.
Yeah.
And you can be a Jedi without being a cookie cutter, everything is this way Jedi. There are
Yeah.
more ways to slice that.
But
I don't know what I'm trying to say there.
but in no way in a demeaning way. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, one
You're
of my
better
favorite
than that is the Qui-Gon.
Well, yeah, one of my
Yeah.
favorite things of Qui-Gon actually came from the Master and Apprentice book.
Oh, so good.
And he
So
a
good.
bit where he talks about like, I choose the light because it's the light. And just having this idea of like it's not because of a Jedi thing or winning any, you know, points in the afterlife. It's because it's the right thing to do. And he's very much honoring of like, if you feel this is the right thing to do, if you feel this way,
Mhm.
fine. I you know, Qui-Gon's that guy that regularly frisks his convictions to feel like, all right, am I still a Jedi today?
Mhm.
All right, yep, okay.
Mhm.
Follow your bliss, baby.
You know, Qui-Gon, had he stuck around for the Clone Wars, for Revenge of the Sith, all that stuff, like that would have been a very different character for sure. Like I
Yeah.
feel like more than ever, his convictions would have been challenged, and we would have seen a different
Mhm.
side. But we got the story we got,
We did.
and so
Mhm.
now all we can do is cross our fingers for Ghost Qui-Gon.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
My fingers are so crossed.
Well, I didn't want to
Please.
be necessarily the last because mine's not necessarily a grand finale, but
I haven't
here
done
we
my
are.
second.
You haven't?
No.
Hit it. Wait,
Oh,
no,
wait.
don't hit it because that goes against what I just said. I'm gonna hit it and then you hit it.
Okay.
Double tap. All right.
So
So-
much.
I really hope it's
So
the
much.
same guy.
That would
not,
be
I swear.
ironically.
No, I'm
No.
sure it's not. But
no. But I'm pretty sure yours is more meaningful than mine.
Oh, it 100% is.
So the whole thing of, like I just said, like I used to have a like no thinky answer for favorite characters and then a thinky answer.
Oh, I
Just
know what this one is.
depending on like where I was at or the kind of conversation. Like there's people that I know aren't gonna like listen to me for 10 minutes on why I love Anakin Skywalker so much. So I'm just like, oh, Boba Fett. And because I know they're like, oh yeah, the guy with the jetpack, he's cool. And then conversation over. My number 2 is that character for me, but in Jedi form. And that would be Kakruk. long,
That's a
awkward
deep cut.
pause for
I know who it
everyone to look
is.
it up on Wikipedia.
I
That's a
know who
deep
it
cut.
is because I've heard you talk about him so many times.
So I should have gotten the figure down.
I can't even Google that because I don't know how to spell
So
that.
K''K.
He's an alligator.
Kakruck.
Dope.
That's amazing.
He is a whipped Jedi, which are very generally cuddly looking creatures, but he did the Iron Man workout and he's much more beefy. He is the most Akira Kurosawa based character in Star Wars comics, I'd say. He comes from the Dark Horse Clone Wars comics of ye old legends, as well as Star Wars Legacy. He is a character that survived Order 66 and went on to lead Luke Skywalker's great-great-grandson, Cade Skywalker, because they ran out of cool names.
I do know who this is. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I had that comic book. I just couldn't remember the name.
he is
There you go.
B.A. Barnes, if
Absolutely.
ever there was one. He has survived so much stuff. He's got a cool little straw hat.
Mhm.
Like,
Straw hat.
he's just so awesome. And so the difference with him and my other characters, because I definitely have the trend of characters that bend the meaning of and the institution of the Jedi, right? Caleb, Qui-Gon, they're atypical. Kakruck was if Obi-Wan had grown up and actually listened to his master and still got to be the poster boy Jedi. Because he's not like anti-Jedi, he's not anti-Republic, but he's also still like super zen and like wise and masterful. Like he's an amalgamation of so many Jedi that I think that's what lends himself to be so likable. Is he's got the best parts of Yoda, the best parts of Qui-Gon, the best parts of Obi-Wan, and it's just wrapped up in this very uncommon alien creature. And so there's this kind of odd attraction of like, oh, you're different. Like, I love alien Jedi, like Roran Korub, Falmandama, Vulfman, like
You're
from the
saying
Clone
a lot
Wars.
of words.
Yes, and most people will be like, those aren't real. He's just out there being Pentecostal, but like, no, those are real characters from 2003 Clone Wars, from comics. They're just so awesome. I love Alien Jedi, and he's one of the best. And there's nothing else thoughtful about that. I just really love that guy.
It's fine for a character to just
I
be
love it.
cool, man.
So
Underrated comic book series.
oh my,
Yes.
Underrated.
if I can plead with anything, look, they're on sale on Comixology. They are so cheap, so fun. Hey, listen, a certain Jedi just got name dropped in part 3 of Kenobi. He's in there. Like he and Kakruck are like best buds. You want to
that's
see?
amazing.
You want to see what would happen if Han Solo and Chewbacca were both Jedi and galloping around the galaxy?
There you
Read the
go.
Dark Horse Clone Wars comic, guy.
Nice.
Like
nice.
it's so good. And also, what if Luke Skywalker carried out around a sawed-off shotgun and a lightsaber?
It's true.
There you go. Like, so good. Oh, also, like you like Darth Maul? Well, what if he
I
was?
do.
What if he was she? Boom, Darth Talon, Star Wars Legacy. It's
I-
so good,
Mm.
so good. One of my favorite Sith too, Darth Krayt. I've talked about him
You have
before.
Oh,
talked about him a lot.
and Kenobi, there's a Zabrak sighting.
That's
Yes,
true. He punches
He
a
punched his-
Zabrak in
and-
the face, which is a terrible idea.
I'm
Yeah.
really starting to
Cringy.
think that he's not very good at combat. He
He's
punched a
rusty.
Zabrak. He kicked Grievous.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm, mhm.
He did
Buddy.
kick Grievous, didn't he?
I
So
don't know-
uncivilized.
I don't know if you know how all this fighting stuff works.
Mm.
True.
So anyway, there's my ridiculous fun. If I can plead with you again, they're on Comixology. They're super cheap. Get them. It's fun reading. If you are waiting for the next cool comic to come out and need something to do, read those comics. You'll have a hoot and a half. They're legends, but you can still enjoy them because Disney likes money and they will gladly
They
take it from
do.
you. So
They do like money.
Go
don't
buy 'em.
they?
Do that mouse.
That darn mouse.
So for a
That
more meaningful response, we go now live to the boop.
Le boop.
Well, like it is a meaningful response. I've already gotten my cool Jedis out of the way.
It's
this one's-
Platoon.
It was for a
Ooh.
little while. Okay, so this one went through
So close. I
This one
like it.
went
I
through
like it.
like phases because at first it was Plo Koon, and then it was Rey Skywalker. Rey
Mm.
Skywalker is just an entirely different level. I love her.
Top 5.
Top
If we had done top 5,
It's true.
Mm.
But I am a big fan of characters that fail.
Mm.
I love characters that go on a journey and learn from their mistakes and then get redemption at the end of that journey.
So Yoda.
No,
Okay.
close. My favorite character is Jabba the Hutt. Ezra Bridger.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
okay, my number
That's a
two
good one.
is Ezra Bridger. Yes.
Oh, I love this.
I would have
so
also
much.
accepted Lando Calrissian.
Yes, him too.
Yeah.
You don't get these jokes because you haven't watched
Nope.
Rebels, dude.
Nope.
Call me
You're good.
Jabba.
And now for part 3 of Justin sits awkwardly and just listens.
If this is
I'll pretend like I'm
what
frozen.
If this is what convinces you to watch Rebels, it will probably be the fact that Ezra Bridger has a lightsaber that is also a blaster.
Oh, that is the greatest lightsaber.
Oh,
Sort of
the
like
best-
sort of
the-
like a
the
Final Fantasy
best
weapon or
lightsaber.
The
something.
best
It's
lightsaber.
Yes,
so
it
cool. It's
is.
also a
It's
gun.
my favorite.
Like,
it's
they
like
should
my
have-
favorite.
They should have just thrown away the the Skywalker saber,
The legacy saber, yeah.
and just gone and dug up Ezra's old one. Like
Where is it?
Rey would have slaughtered the Emperor with that.
Exactly.
It's just like
Mhm.
It's just like he's
It's a gun.
mid monologue, shoo shoo in the
Right.
face. He's dead. She is all the Jedi.
wouldn't have seen it coming.
But yeah, Ezra is an incredible character. And the arc that he goes through in Rebels is so meaningful and full of feels. I cried several times watching Rebels, like at so many different points for so many dumb reasons. But like, I think one of the main reasons I love him is that he is the little brother. Like that, I can relate to that. Being the youngest of the group, like being the annoying one who just like pushes your older brother to like the point of insanity, and then you make up later. You get punched in the face and
You
everything's fine.
Go out for
We figured it out.
runs.
You get hit with a Darth Maul saber a few hundred times. You learn to work your own stuff out. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I still have
talking
scars.
about.
But yeah, like I love the character journey that Ezra goes through, and man, chasing Purrgil will always be one of my favorite episode arcs. Like just for the sake of, you know what, this is important. I don't know why it's important, but it's gonna be later.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things about Ezra, now that you mention it, is the fact of how he communes with nature, specifically like
Yes.
animals.
Oh, that's my absolute
It's the
favorite.
best.
Like,
yes.
Rebels' discussion of the Force and creation is so unique and different because like so many things, like we hear the lines from Yoda time and time again of like, it's in everything, it surrounds it, binds it, and all that, but we always come back to, and we use it to lift rocks, but like there's the way it interacts with the world around us, that Ezra is a way to kind of
Listen,
associate
man,
to.
in Ahsoka, I want desperately for them to find Ezra, and he's just surrounded by animals, just like Beast Keeper Ezra.
Him and Thrawn have just started a farm
It's
together
true.
on some asteroid.
They're running a zoo, is what
Right.
they're
This
doing.
is my
That'd be
husband,
amazing.
Thrawn.
This is the one I tolerate, Ezra.
Isn't
What a
that
love
just
story.
marriage?
Isn't
Yep.
that just
At least they're not
tolerating?
brothers. Like,
It's true.
I mean, it's better than the Skywalkers.
Ugh.
See,
So-
that's something that would get me to watch the show. Is just tell me that Thrawn's on it.
He
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
Thrawn is one
yeah.
of my favorite villains.
Dude, he is the main villain of
Ooh.
Rebels. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that.
Well,
Ooh.
get educated, son.
I need to find my little chiss boy.
Yes.
Don't we all? But yes. So
Yes, Kev. All right.
Pet
yeah,
detective, I love
it builds up to, and like I said, and that's what I love about Rebels. And this isn't a we sat down with Milk Daddy himself,
Stop calling him that.
Nick from Podcast of the Wills, a little while ago to chat about Rebels, and you can get more of our thoughts over there. But I love that it starts, Empire versus Rebels, and quickly turns more personal. Even when Thrawn shows up, it's still a very
Yeah.
personal journey.
And I have much more to say about Ezra in general, but I also don't want to ruin any of his character beats because
Right.
there are people present
They-
who have not seen Rebels.
And they are worth waiting to watch.
Look,
Yes.
all
Oh,
I'm saying
man.
is he's Hondo's favorite for a reason.
It's true.
Yes.
He
Who's
is.
Hondo?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
Hondo Anaka.
Hondo Naka.
You're missing out, buddy.
Hang on, let me get back to Google.
You were going to flip
How do you feel
Because-
about Jim Cummings?
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Good work.
Hondo Anaka.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yep.
A puffer pig is involved. Lando shows up.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It's beautiful.
and again,
It's amazing.
Ezra Bridger, pet detective. What more do you need, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that dude just looks cool.
He is cool.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So again, putting the challenge out there, you've heard our ridiculously disorganized list. Now that I think about it, it was kind of a bad idea, but I enjoyed it anyway, and hopefully you all did. Hopefully those checking it out did as well. Let us know what yours are below at any given time, and if you really want to make sure we see it, maybe hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, and maybe Facebook if you use it, but who does? And let us know there and keep the conversation going. That's why we do what we do. We obviously have fun with our friends here, but we love talking about this endlessly with anyone who wants to. So hit us up and follow us on social media for that. Thank you to our lovely, lovely guests. You guys
Yes.
are amazing. You make this so much more fun. And also,
Wouldn't be the same without you.
no, not at all. You make it special. And thank you to our patrons who support this. Justin, thank you. The first patron on the show,
It's true.
but not the last. So
No.
there you go. But
Give us your
But certainly
money.
the favorite.
yes, the favorite so far. Yeah.
Whoa.
Listen, you can support us on Patreon if you don't want to do a monthly thing. Anchor has one-time giving. If you don't want to do any of that, buy a cool shirt. We have a couple of different designs up at TeePublic. We're going to be dropping a new one soon for our lovely little Pride collection.
Yes.
If you haven't noticed, our logo changed, as did many others. So we're going to put ours on a T-shirt and sell it, and 100% of the proceeds that go to us and not TeePublic will go to Amidala Initiative, a group of 77 content creators in the Star Wars community who are supporting the work of Equality Texas to support LGBTQ plus work there, specifically with at-risk trans youth. And so if you want
Yes.
to get a cool shirt and do something cool and active for Pride, that's an option.
Mhm.
But the cool thing is, as long as the shirt's up, then the proceeds go. So it's not just
Exactly.
Pride Month, it's every month
Yeah.
that
And
TeePublic allows us to have it up, because I'm
Exactly.
fighting with TeePublic right now about stuff. But that's neither here nor there. So if anything, get it where you can. Get it
Yeah.
while it's hot.
And as we are in the month of Pride, remember that, you are loved. You are so very, very valued, even if you're out or in the closet still. If your parents don't like you, we're your parents now.
Exactly. Welcome to the herd.
Exactly. Pride is important for a lot of different reasons. There are people who don't know that it's okay to be yourself, and that's why Pride exists.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to get emotional over Pride.
And that's why representation matters. So you're going to see
Exactly.
a lot of that, and a lot of people promoting characters maybe you haven't heard of or you don't care for, and that's fine, but it's meaningful to someone.
Exactly.
And as we talked about on this episode, you never know how much of someone's personal journey is in their decision to love Star Wars, love a character, or just love what they love. So maybe just let them love it and
Exactly.
be on your way. Move along. Let's make Pride awesome and welcoming, and yeah.
No cops at Pride, only Transformers.
Only Transformers. Optimus Prime says trans rights.
Exactly.
You heard it here. Well, we will be back. And speaking of Transformers, next week we are chatting with the wonderful bros from Bro Axiom,
Yes.
Dan and Chris,
Nice.
about
Sweet boys.
Transformers, because it is coming up on a milestone of an anniversary of its own. And we want to celebrate the phenomenon that is transforming robot toys.
You said it, so I
Yeah.
have to do it.
What?
Phenomenal.
Phenomena.
Do,
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 do, do, do, do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There will be many a do to have next week. So join us live if you can. If not, find it wherever you get it. And you know what? If you liked it, share it, send it to somebody. Be like, hey, check out this guy that doesn't know what Star Wars Rebels is.
Couldn't be me.
He plays video
What a
games.
loser.
No. Love you. I can't wait until you're indoctrinated into the Rebels verse as well,
Oh,
Justin. But
yes,
it's well
yes,
worth
yes,
it. It's going to
yes.
break your heart. But that's what we
I
love
just,
around
I
here.
just dig the multicolored Mandalorian armor. I've already seen that.
Oh,
So.
dude. Yeah, Sabine Wren.
Ooh.
Yep.
Chef's
You
kiss.
lots of
Yeah.
Mando stuff there.
We're
Like,
gonna have to have him back on the podcast with
Oh.
Alden.
Yes.
So yes.
Watch a Star Wars Rebels, and we'll have you back to talk about it. There you go.
Sounds good to me.
That's the deal. Lauren, you need no excuse to come back.
It's true.
We can't wait to get you back on.
You're always welcome here. You
Always.
beautiful, beautiful.
Even
woman.
if it's just to hang out and judge us from the weak corner.
It's true.
We just love having you around. So
Oh, well, thank you. This was a lot of
be
fun.
sure to
Lot of
check
fun.
out the lovelies. I don't know how to point. Lauren with GALactic Podcast, as well as Geek Broadcast, and Justin with
here too.
Attempted Optimism Podcast. Their ats are in the description, so follow those. You'll find their podcasts. Check it out. You might love it.
Give him a gentle kiss.
Yeah, give them a sweet little kiss. And we will give you sweet little kisses as you stay scruffy until next week, my lovely, lovely listeners.
Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.